We got a problem. All of us in this room, we're facing some problems. As a soul care director, I'm calling you. I know you're feeling the anxiety. John Mark Comer, in his book, Live No Lies, talks about the three tectonic shifts that we are all facing as church leaders and as Christians. The first being majority to minority. We've all heard about the rise of the nuns and the numbers. Now Lifeway's come out for the first time that millennials have fallen below the 50% level as identifying as Christians. So that's not the real issue, Comer says. He says, to use a word or an expression from C.S. Lewis, the real issue is that we are now part of a cognitive minority. To quote him, our worldview is at sharp odds these days with the host culture. And this leads us to the next change or the next shift, the shift from honor to shame. People want nothing to do with faith in the public square, he says. He says now the church is beginning to be seen as part of the problem and not the solution. And in some regions in our nation, and maybe you're feeling it in your own locality, we're shifting from tolerance to a rising hostility. Our neighbors and our friends, again, according to Comer, no longer think that our beliefs are just a little weird. They think that they are dangerous, and that is a serious difference. Murray Bowen, who started the family systems theory, he described it this way in his 8th principle, that when society begins to feel anxiety, that will eventually bleed into the family, which will bleed into the individual, which will bleed into those organizations in which we attend, like the local church. You see, if you're a pastor these days, you're facing anxiety in your churches. You're feeling it. It's bleeding into your churches. Houston, we have a problem. We're facing the perfect storm, my friends. And if you look at the religious lives of Gen Zs, those that are 25 and under, if you were at a regional conference, you've seen this one before. What you're seeing here is that 65, even more percentage of those that are 25 and under will not attend your church this year. If they do, they will be dragged in one time and one time only. But there is a perfect storm, because at the same time, we, the clergy, look like me in our age. I am now 57 years old, which is the average age of clergy across the United States of America. In 10 years, what is going to happen? Houston, we have a problem. So what is the answer? The Sunday school teacher said this. It's furry, has a bushy tail. It's got buck teeth and likes to eat acorns. The little boy said, well, it sure does sound like a squirrel, but I know the answer has to be Jesus. And sure enough, what is your true north? The answer is Jesus. The answer is Jesus. Let's look at this Gen Z as he talks about business and think about it in the filter of the church.
If you're committed to something that's not working and you're doing it over and over again, the definition of insanity is doing the same thing over and over again and expecting a different result, right? So when you move forward, become infatuated, become obsessed with what works, right? Which means you should be very open to what goes on throughout that journey. For example, be set on your destination, but be able to be okay with changing the way that you get there on your journey, right? Maybe you got to take a route or a fork in the road, that's fine. Be, non-negotiable with the destination, but be negotiable with the way that you get there. And that comes with throwing out an item, scrapping an offer, throwing something out that's just not working, and starting over again. Even though you spend some time on building it and maybe you've developed an emotional connection to it, part of it being a business owner is not having any emotions in business and being able to really drive yourself forward based on data and logic.
Be set on the destination. Be set on the destination. Be willing to throw out everything else that doesn't take you to the destination. What is the true north? How do we get there? It's not by improving what is not working. The true north is Jesus Christ. It is not our preaching, pastors. It is not our programs. It is not our preferences. It is not our performances on Sunday morning. It's Jesus. The true north is Jesus. It is about a person. And it is about, to use the letter P one more time, it is about production. It is about raising up saints that are raising up saints that are raising up saints that are making disciples and making disciples. It is the true north is about Jesus. It is about brokenness and the crucified life. It is about Colossians 2, verse 1, where Paul is saying, I want you to know this, that I am contending for you. It is Colossians 4:12, where Epaphras is saying, I am wrestling in prayer for you. I am fighting on your behalf. I am fighting because of Jesus and the mission of Jesus Christ. And I'm fighting for the next generation, knowing that they need to hear the gospel. Houston, we have a problem. How did Jesus change this world? How did he change the world? This picture is in Eastern Africa. My colleague and I were there last year. This is where the East African revival took place that went all over East Africa. How did a man named Jesus message in Israel, who ministered for 3 years, thousands of years ago, how did he change East Africa? How did he do it? He did it through discipleship. We can't have Jesus' results if we refuse to use Jesus' methods. We've got a problem. We can't have Jesus' results if we refuse to use his methods. When our people do not obey the Great Commission, when they're afraid to talk about their faith, it is a reflection on our leadership. It is a reflection on our examples as leaders. And it is a reflection on the priorities that we hold as pastors. So how are we going to reach Gen Z in slide 8? This is me with one of my favorite mentees, a Gen Z, my son, at Globe Life Field, home of the World Series champions, Texas Rangers. And I want to tell you all something. Houston, you had a problem. Now, how are we going to reach Gen Z? We're going to reach them by relationship, by relationship, by relationship. By assembling our churches, every single one of them, and say, you will be a mentor. You will be a disciple maker. And we're scrapping everything else until we figure this one thing out. Because the Great Commission is to glorify God and to grow living disciples. There is no other scorecard in this message. There is no other scorecard in the scriptures. Pastors, this is the message. Houston, we have a problem if we're ending up serving the Lord in something he is not asking us to do. But you have the answer. You have the answer. The true north, Jesus Christ. And you can change the lives of everyone around you because you mentored me. Hit the slide.
Because of my mentors.
Because you mentored me.
I realized my dreams.
Because someone cared enough to mentor me.
Cared enough.
I'm able to offer spiritual guidance.
I never gave up.
Never.
With the help of my mentors,
I'm able to design the world around me. You can be the difference.
Because you mentored me.
Because you mentored me.
look at me now.
Now I'm saving lives.
I'm the coach of the team.
Because someone cared enough to mentor me,
I'm able to capture a moment.
I'm able to be creative.
This is my life.
My life.
Because you mentored me,
I broke the mold.
Because someone cared enough.
Cared enough.
I'm able to mentor someone else.
I never gave up.
I never gave up.
Because you mentored me,
I become a mentor too. Become a mentor in real life.
I want you to look to the person to the left, and I want you to say something. I can change the world. Say it right now. I can change the world. All right, now look back and say the same thing. Say it back to them. Tell them, I can change the world. I can change the world. How are you going to change the world? You're going to change the world one person at a time. You're going to change the world by raising up churches that are reaching people one person at a time. You're going to be the man in Israel that changes all of East Africa. You're going to be the woman in Israel that changes all East Africa, one person at a time.